Right, Rob Barsby joins us. I assume you're in the UK, are you, Rob?
Yeah, we're in the UK, yes.
Aerosparks, brilliant show, brilliant display, pyrotechnics, gliders. Tell us all about it for people who are not aware what it is.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much. I'm glad you appreciated it. Yeah, but Aerosparks is a very unique team. We're the only team in the world doing what we do, really. Right. We do nighttime formation aerobatics with pyro. So in other words, it's very dark. So most people think we're crazy, but we've spent a lot of time and effort developing this show. And what we really like is it's very graceful. I mean, you've seen the show, very graceful, very beautiful. And we are probably one of the only teams, if not the only team, that can consistently let fireworks off for at least 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. It's art in the sky. It really is. I saw you in Gdynia in Poland to the beautiful classical track. It's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, especially with water. If you've got a water, Gdynia is a good example. Got reflection of the water. We're also working on lots of other projects currently, which you saw again in Gdynia, where we do transitions between ourselves and a firework display.
Yeah. Yes.
So instead of us just doing our little bit and then moving off and disappearing, it's actually really nice now to work with a transition, we call it, with a wall of fire. So some of the guys might have seen some of the videos we've got where we've got walls of fire with flyby. And we're just working on now, so stay tuned, we're just working on now integration with drones.
Wow.
So there's a whole new sort of genre starting to come out that I think we can add even more to the show.
And when you say drones, are you talking about the big groups of drones, like the hundreds of drones all in formation?
Well, use your imagination.
Wow.
Can you imagine what we could do with some of the stuff you've seen online?
Yes. Yes. Did you see that thing the other week? I think it was from Scotland. It was like a stag.
Yes.
I mean, it was just incredible.
Yeah. So you imagine then a stag with the Aerosparks flying around the stag, because what's really nice is the drone flying is really cool and it looks good. But I think because we're a moving object around it with very long trails and really cool pyro, I think it could add a whole new element to it. And then who's to say you can't put drones on fireworks on drones?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'll just let your imagination start to go.
I was trying to think about it now. Is it everything you do now, Rob? Is it all nighttime? Is it all pyro? Is that everything?
Yeah, we not solely. I mean, that's what everyone knows us for. But you've also seen maybe some shots from Saudi Arabia earlier in the year, where we have quite a lot of smoke. So we have, we're sort of known for multicoloured smoke on the aircraft. So the same way as we do with the trails of the pyrotechnics, imagine you've got multicoloured smoke. Well, if you're doing Gdynia, for an example, or you're doing Saudi Arabia, you could have green smoke for Saudi. We could have red and white smoke for Poland.
Yes.
So actually, we're now getting into this sort of genre now of actually we can tailor our sort of smoke for the event we're doing.
Right. Last year, disaster for most people. What about?
I don't know whether you saw the video 2020, but actually we did quite a lot. We went to Saudi Arabia earlier in the year. We went to Portugal.
Yes.
We've been to Poland in Leszno. And again, talking of smoke, you might have seen we've done a circle where we fly around the Flying Dragons team. You might have seen that. That was quite cool and unique. And then we've done a lot of online stuff, obviously. And we've just done, your guys abroad might not know, but you'll know, the Blue Peter Christmas special.
Ah. Yeah, the children's TV show, yeah.
Yeah, longest TV show in the world, apparently.
Yes.
And we were asked to do their Christmas special.
Wow.
So that was quite a privilege, and I've not got my Blue Peter badge on.
I was going to say, did you get a Blue Peter badge?
Yeah, I've got a Blue Peter badge.
Every British person our age will be talking about Blue Peter badges. Well, so this year you must have a lot of things already in the calendar.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people talking, and as you know, with a lot of the industry, I would imagine there's a lot of people all on sort of standby to roll a lot of shows out through this coming year. So a lot of the shows that we didn't do last year have already, as you know, with the calendars, put in dates for next year or this year now. So yes, we're starting to get quite busy, but like all of us, we've got to see what happens with the pandemic and see whether things happen or not.
So some questions that might seem quite dumb.
No, go for it.
With the pyrotechnics in the display, are they timed or are they activated by yourselves with a switch or what?
Believe it or not, in the middle of all the going upside down and doing aerobatics and doing a display, we have to press the button 8 times.
Wow.
So between Guy and myself, obviously I'm flight lead, so I'm leading the formation. Guy's job is to basically stay behind me and not hit me. And my job is to make sure we go where we should do and make sure we're in the right place for the crowd. But at the same time, I'm also announcing at different parts in the show when to fire the button. Yeah. And the same with Guy, he's doing the same. Now, again, people always ask us these questions. How did this all happen? Well, we've spent a lot of time developing unique computer systems in the aircraft because if you imagine, one button's easy. I know where it is. If I had a row of 8 buttons in the dark and I asked you to press number 5,
right,
you wouldn't find it, would you?
No.
Or you might get it wrong. So what we have is a computer system. We have one button, but the computer system actually is sort of, I won't say programmed, but it has a sequence that means we can press one button and go to number 1, press it again, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then we can actually retrace our steps if we need to.
Right. And that's actually loading all the pyro onto the airframes. How long does that take?
Well, I wish it took 10 minutes, but it doesn't. We give you an example of an air show. We will spend 3 to 4 hours preparing the aircraft for a 6-7 minute show.
Right. Wow.
That's just to put the pyro on. We have to obviously ignite the pyro. We have to obviously prepare the pyro. Then it has to go on the aircraft. Then we've got to make sure it's all wired properly. Then we've got a diagnostic system through the computer that we can check that everything's working. Yes. And then we obviously go and do then we've got to think about doing an air show. So actually there's 2 elements to our show. There's obviously the pyro bit and there's the air show bit.
Right. Where did it all come from, Rob? How did this idea start and how long did it take to put it all together?
This has been going on for years, and Guy is actually the man that sort of had the brainwave years ago. Yeah. He saw the Edinburgh Tattoo in London, in Edinburgh. It had a waterfall of pyrotechnics.
Yes.
And he had this sort of idea that wouldn't that look really cool on the wings of a glider at the time? So the display team was sort of tested on a glider called Glider FX, which you might have seen. I know you've seen it in Dubai. And it sort of started from there. And then from that, it developed into the motor glider, because gliders are great and they're fantastic, but it's always got to land somewhere, obviously near the show site. Yeah. Where with the motor glider, which all intents and purposes is an aeroplane with big wings, it can actually fly to the destination, do the show, and then fly home again. So that's how it got born. But like all these things, it's developed over time.
It's a Grob you're using, isn't it?
Yeah, Grob 109. Yeah, Grob 109B. So it's developed over time to where it is now. So there's years and years of development, which is why, and I'm not, we're not trying to say we're the best, but we have a lot of expertise in what we do because we have spent 10, 15 years working out what we do. Right.
Another stupid question.
Yeah.
How do you get the equipment from one place to the next?
2 ways, and it's very easy actually. The one way is you fly it there, which is obviously the easy one, and the second way is we have to put it in container. So both Grobs, I don't know if you know with gliders, but they've already got the ability to take the wings off.
Yes.
So we don't have to dismantle the aeroplane as you would in a normal aeroplane. We actually can take pins out, take the wings off, put them in a container, and it gets a little bit frustrating for some teams because we turn up in a foreign country, have the aeroplane back together in 3 hours, and some guys have been there for 3 days putting the wings on. So they go in a container and get shipped, obviously, to somewhere abroad. But it tends to work that in Europe, we tend to fly them. Outside of Europe, we tend to ship them.
Yes. That's incredible.
But we have done a trip from Saudi Arabia back to the UK.
You're going to fly?
No, we did. We in 2008, I think it was. We had to. We did an air show in Saudi Arabia. We had to do an air show in Italy to 2 cruise ships. Now, again, we're the only team that, as far as I know, have ever displayed 2 cruise ships, which is cool in itself. But we had
2 ships at the same time?
Yeah, 2 ships on the water, out at sea, in the dark, and we had to do a display to the 2 cruise ships. I think there was 6,000 people on the ships.
Wow.
If you know Celebrity Cruises, is it? I think 2 massive ships.
Yes.
So we flew from Saudi Arabia up to Egypt into Crete, Crete into Italy. We then saw the ship on the way to Italy.
Yes.
So we passed it on the way. And there's a shot on our Instagram and all the social media you'll see of the aeroplane flying over the ship.
Yes.
Then we stayed the night, and then the following day we went and did the display to the ships, and then we flew back through Italy, France, back into the UK.
Wow, that was quite a journey.
Yeah, but again, that's one of the reasons we enjoy this, because we get to see things that, we were flying through Egypt across the desert for 4 hours.
Right. Wow.
Over the Oster Valley, and then doing 2 cruise ships was cool in itself.
Yes. What's your day like right now? What would a typical day like be for you?
Like all of us, really, sitting at home. We're obviously working on computers, organising things ready for obviously shows coming up.
Yeah.
Like everything, life doesn't stop, even though it does stop.
Yes.
And yeah, looking forward to a fun season. We've been doing quite a bit of promotion. You might have seen April, our ambassador. That's just gone out on social media. And really, we are both very passionate about getting people into flying.
Right.
So using the team, it's a great way of getting more people involved, because you don't have to be an aviator to appreciate an Aerosparks display.
Yes.
Because it's fireworks. So actually, it's a great way of getting anybody interested in flying or air sports and get talking about it. And as we're both instructors, it's great. So April Banbury, that's our ambassador, she's got no previous flying experience. She's come from a mainstream background.
Yes. And
she's really keen now to learn to fly. So you'll probably see some more videos of her learning to fly. And she just happens to be Miss GB and a TV star. So actually, hopefully, we're going to get the whole message of aviation out to a lot wider audience.
Fantastic. Well, it'd be great to get her on the show in a few weeks if you could organise that, Rob.
Yeah, definitely. No problem at all.
Yeah.
I think April's on mainstream TV in about 3 days' time.
Right. How did flying start for you? Where did it all begin?
Oh, a long while ago, as all of us. But I actually was very fortunate to fly an aeroplane on my 16th birthday, as it was. Was it 16th? Yeah, or 17th. Before I drove a car, actually.
Your family from aviation? Have you got an aviation family?
No. It all started, my father decided to build a microlight. And in those days, microlights aren't what they are nowadays.
Yeah.
So I remember building it in a garage with him. I obviously was a young lad, like all of us, who liked aeroplanes, liked air shows. So I was over the moon because my dad was paying for it. We built this aeroplane, and at the time you couldn't do any training in a microlight. You had to do it. I had to do my first flights in a 152, a Cessna 152, and on my birthday, if it all went to plan, I would go solo, which I did. So I did 10 hours flying, learned to fly this Cessna, and then because I was learning to fly the microlight, it stopped. And to give you a little bit of a nice story, I then stopped flying. My father said, I'm not spending any more money on aviation because it's costing me an arm and a leg. I went, oh, what a shame. So I went away and windsurfed for the UK.
Did you?
Yeah. So I went and became a UK sailor, windsurf around the world. So you might have actually seen on our social media again, I'm actually just getting back on the board after 25 years.
Amazing.
No, more than that, 35 years. And I'm going to have a go at wing foiling now. And the last flight I had before I went away and windsurfed for 20 years was in a glider.
Yeah.
And that glider is now was at the gliding club, and I didn't know this at the time, that I then became chief flying instructor at, and an instructor, and the aircraft are based at that airfield today, and I still instruct at that airfield today. And that was the last flight I had.
Where's that?
It's called the Gliding Centre, Husbands Bosworth in Leicestershire.
Yeah.
And the last flight I had on my 18th birthday was in a glider, but I didn't know at the time where it was. I have no idea. My mum and dad took me there.
Yeah.
It turns out 30 years later, after I'd done the windsurfing sort of thing, I got back into flying and I went to that gliding club just because that was my nearest gliding club. And it turns out that was the one that I went to 18, and I then worked my way through to chief flying instructor, etc., Aerosparks, Gloria FX.
Incredible. What a fantastic story.
Yeah.
And that guy's son, Guy Westgate's son, your partner, is just his license. 17, is he?
Yeah. He was the youngest pilot. I was the instructor that cleared him to go on his own. So Guy, obviously, as you know, in the middle of lockdown, it wasn't easy. We managed to get a window when the country wasn't locked down. Guy taught him to fly. So Alex taught him to fly, did all his training. And then obviously, like we all do in aviation, they have to have a check and balance.
Yeah.
So Guy brought him to the airfield. I flew with him for a day, and it was on his birthday. So again, no pressure. And he was good enough to go.
Was he 17 or 14? I can't remember.
14.
14, yes.
I know in a glider you're allowed to go at 14.
Right.
In a powered aeroplane, I don't know what it is now. It might be 16, I think. But when I was obviously my age, it was 17. But yeah, 14-year-old went on his own, and he became as he did that flight. There would have been nobody else in the world probably going solo on their birthday that day. So he would have been the youngest pilot in the world that day.
Fantastic.
And it's really nice for me because to give that back to Guy and Guy to sort of have me involved. So it was quite a nice, connection.
Yeah, brought it round full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously for me, I know that I went solo on my birthday, so it was really nice. And for Alex, I don't, Guy won't like me for saying this, but I don't think Guy went solo on his birthday. So Alex has done something Guy's not done.
Fantastic. Just going back to the display when I was watching you guys year before in Gdynia in Poland at that amazing air show, and the visual of seeing you perform is absolutely stunning with the music and with the pyro. But I also then afterwards saw your footage from inside with the GoPros. That's even more incredible from what you guys can see.
Yeah, the little thing, not frustrating, but there isn't anybody that's come to me over the years that hasn't. You've watched the videos, you think it's cool, and when you see it for real, everybody goes, it's even better for real than it is off the videos.
Yeah.
So, as you said, it's fantastic to watch it. I think if you ever get the chance, come and see us, because I think you'll be blown away. Yeah. But for us personally, in the aeroplanes, we get a unique view that it's just amazing. I mean, you think what it looks like from outside. Well, inside, it's quite interesting actually. I get one experience, Guy gets a different experience.
Right.
In my aeroplane, I'm at the front, so I'm looking out the window into pitch black, into dark. So I'm always a bit like trying to keep my eyes into the dark so I can see where we're going.
For sure, yeah.
So when the pyro goes off, you see in the corner of your eyes all the pyro doing this forward off my aeroplane. Right. And I get to see guys going past mine as well.
Yeah.
What you don't do is look at the pyro because you can't see where you're going then.
The night vision,
that's my experience. Guy's experience is completely the opposite. Guy aeroplane and himself gets lit up like a Christmas tree. So he gets lots of light in his aeroplane. So he cannot see anything other than the underside of my aeroplane.
Wow.
So if you imagine we're doing the maneuvers,
yes,
he just follows me. This is where the trust comes in. This is where any display team that you've spoken to, it's where the trust comes in. He has to trust that I'm not going to go anywhere we shouldn't.
Yeah.
So when we're upside down, all he sees is the bottom of my aeroplane, and he turns all his instrument lights up as high as he can get them so he can see them. Yeah. I turn mine down as low as I can get them because I want to be able to see out in the dark.
Yeah. Incredible.
So it's amazing. And the lady that did the Blue Peter filming at Christmas, the Blue Peter special, because we weren't displaying, we're allowed to put somebody in the airplane.
Right.
And she got to experience that. And if you watch the video, she was blown away. It's like I said, Tom Scott, he's another guy, a YouTuber. We did a video with him. He was blown away. It's just a shame we can't share it with everybody.
No. Well, I'll put me down on the list. I want mine.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, it's been absolutely great to catch up with you, my friend. Thanks for joining me at such short notice. And let's get this pandemic out of the way and get back outside for air sports, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're looking forward to hitting the ground running. Yeah. I think there's a few shows lined up for springtime. I believe we're ready to go. Yeah. And as I say, watch our social media. There's some exciting stuff coming through, I think. So and I look forward to seeing you in Gdynia hopefully again.
Yeah, hopefully, my friend Rob. Thanks for joining us.
All right, take care.